Hi everyone, and welcome to week 2 of 2063. Just as I mentioned in the last video, all of the weeks are set up the same with resources first. And you'll notice in this week, there is a reading response rubric and a discussion forum rubric, meaning that we have both of those things. Everything other than the first part of the form rubric, the form assignment is due on Saturday, and with the form response or initial post is due on Wednesday. This week on week 2 is very simple. It's a forum post about academic language. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It basically says research academic language and define the term and explain how it might be or could be implemented into a lesson plan. And this is a reading response. You're going to be choosing a topic related to the influence of society on curriculum and explain your choice, its impact on education, and use the reading response rubric. So, here are the teacher standards. Here are Ohio Grade 3 Reading Guarantee examples and social problems in school decision making, including things like bullying. So you'll need to go to these websites, explore, and choose a topic that interests you the most. And you're probably going to need maybe more than, once you've decided, let's say that you decide on teacher education or educator standards. Sorry, I can't talk this morning. And so you would go into the website that I have set up for you here. And then my suggestion would be to go at least one more website and get some information. So this is a reading response. It'll be due on Saturday. And since that took such a real short period of time, I'll go ahead and make a couple of comments about week 1. And then start on, about week 1. And then start talking to you about week 3 in this short video. Continue, folks, to look at your discussion forums to make sure that you have APA and check the links very carefully. Okay, week 3 is a little bigger than the first 2 weeks. You'll be doing your look at your learning outcome in your week 3 assignments. So this is talking about understanding academic language again. And then it directs you to the standards in your certification area and gives you the readings and the rest of the homework for assignments that need to be done. Here's your discussion forum rubric, the link to Ohio standards, a video on academic language, a video on measurable learning outcomes, and the lesson plan template, rubrics, and example. We've already went over pretty much all of these, except we haven't talked about measurable learning objectives yet. This seems to be one of the most difficult things for students to write as they begin to write an objective, to make sure that you're writing it as measurable. So This is a real cute video. I love those video scribe videos. It's so short. As you can see, it's 4:38. And it gives you such a good grasp on how to write measurable learning outcomes. So what we're trying to do here in week 3 is to get you ready to write that first section of the lesson plan. So we're going to look next at the template, the rubric, and the example. So here's the template, and it'll show you how many points each section of the template is worth. For example, language demand, 1 point per question, total of 6 points. But you also have to show where you incorporated academic language terms within your lesson. Not just, these are, let me look at academic language above first. You're doing defining them, giving the source, 10 points each. And then you have to say, how am I going to teach it? Let's say that you were going to do let's say you were working with kindergarten. You're going to do a book about direction, up, down, left, right, over, below. Then you would have those as your language. Or if we were talking about science, and they were going to be learning about the planet or the planetary system, or astronomy. Astronomy would be one of your words in academic language. So you'll notice you write the definition and you identify the source of each academic term. Not just define it, but identify the source. Then down on language demand, you'll show where are you teaching that. Perhaps you're reading them a book, and then you're going to preview it and then talk about it and do a think, pair, share after. That would be where you do your language demand. That will be how you incorporate it into your lesson itself. Technology, whether you're using or not, and why. Setting context for learning, 3 points for each section. Plan for ELL, for subgroups of underperforming students, and a subgroup for gifted or needing more challenges, and for IEPs. Now, this class that you're making this plan for is going to be an imaginary class, because I want you, or it can be one you've worked with before, but you might have to use a little liberal tweaking, because I want you to include the ELL, those 4 sections for subgroups to show how that you would teach it. So what I want to think about here, I want you to think about is that you do not, I'm going to go down to kids that are underperforming. You do not differentiate for those students by having the gifted students work with them. Now that might help the lower achieving students, but you are not helping gifted students. You're not challenging them. It's not about just the low subgroup of students or the underperforming students. So and giving them a chance just to say they can add a picture to it, or they can do something very simple like that. It has to be something that challenges them. You're planning for your IEPs. Same thing. What are you going to do? You might have a support person in the room to help out. But if you don't, which you usually don't, then you're going to have to say, what am I going to do? And that plan will have to do with the actual IEP itself, be it imaginary or real. If they have a language arts IEP, or maybe they might have language arts and math, or they might have behavioral. So you have to hit all of those things. Plan for ELL. You could indeed match some of these students up for a small group with other students who are fluent in English. It's going to help them, not help the others. But if it's just group work and you're doing things together, those would be good models for the ELL. And there are many, many other things you're going to do to support them. I'd like for you to do some research on that. And not in the not too distant future, those people who have been in power most of the time this country's been there, white Caucasian people, will be in the minority. Everyone needs to realize that everyone has value no matter their ethnicity. And so what are you going to do to make things easier for those students who are learning another language? I have a lot of people who say things like, I'm going to put a picture up, or I'm going to put a Spanish word up if it happens to be a Spanish speaker. Or I'm going to allow them to do this in their native language. And what you got to understand is that some of these children have no native language. Some of these students have not learned to write or to read or even to talk in their native language. They would still be an ELL because part of the criteria is, what do you do? What do you do for those students who are ELL that would really help them where they're at? So, am I going to say write this letter or write a note in Spanish? Because no, this is not bilingual education. It's teaching them English as another language. So it's about English. It's not about doing things in their language, which turns it into a bilingual lesson then. I hope that I've been able to be helpful with you on that section. I'm not going to go any further than that. That should be everything that you have in that first partial week. I am going to show you, we'll double check that right here. And so that is indeed everything. So I'm going to make sure of that. So you can take this template, download it, and use it, and just turn in the section each week that you need done. Or you can do just that section, copy it, and then. But when you're ready to turn everything in, it'll be where you want it. If you keep a running one as you go along. Not a bad idea to do that. And as you turn in your partial lesson plans each week, please make sure that you understand that I will give you feedback if it's incorrect before you turn in the final lesson plan. You need to make sure that you will put those changes in effect. For example, when you do the one on week 3, if your lesson measurement, your lesson objective is not measurable, you'll need to redo that part. You'll need to revise it. So I think that's everything for weeks 2 and 3. Please pay careful attention to everything in week 3. It tends to make people a little bit confused. It's a hard thing. So, as always, let me know if you have any questions. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I will talk with you soon.